Today's sermon is entitled, What Happens When You Steal from God? It is taken from Psalms 83. That's where we're going to begin. There is a place in Scripture called the Kishon River, and it is associated with destruction and payback. So let's go, shall we, to 83:9. Do to them as you did to the Midianites, and as you did to Sisera and Jabin at the Kishon River. They were destroyed at Endor, and their decaying corpses fertilized the soil. Go down to verse 12. For they said, let us seize from our own for our own use. For they said, let us seize for our own use these pasture lands of God. So what we're looking at is people who take for themselves without honoring the things that were from God, considering everything that He has given to us, each and every one of us. So let's take a look-see at, let's go over to 1 Kings. And let's go to 11. That's chapter 11. And verses 29 on down to 34. We are checking out the ramifications of disobedience. I am about to tear the kingdom from the hand of Solomon, and I will give 10 of the tribes to you. And when you take it down a little bit before 34, it says, he has not obeyed my decrees and regulations as David his father did. So this is all about someone taking someone's clothes and ripping them into 12 pieces. And a lot of us would not be having that. We would not be too thrilled about that occurring. And it was all tied into what the Lord was going to do. So it was heavily symbolic. But this is the ramification that came in through disobedience. Lastly, let's take a look at Deuteronomy. Let's look at Deuteronomy 14:23 and also Deuteronomy 15:1. So it says in 23, bring this tithe to the designated place of worship, the place the Lord your God chooses for his name to be honored, and eat it there in his presence. This applies to your tithes of grain, new wine, olive oil, and the firstborn males of your flocks and herds. Doing this will teach you, it will teach you always to fear the Lord your God. So it says in 22, you must set aside a tithe of your crops, 1/10 of all the crops you harvest each year. And when you take it down a little bit further in 24, there are accommodations that are granted, or at least one where it says, now when the Lord your God blesses you with a good harvest, the place of worship he chooses for his name to be honored might be too far for you to bring the tithe. And in verse 25 it says, if so, it's like an if then statement going on, like in modern days when you're talking about, like, say, computer programs. It says, if so, you may sell the tithe portion of your crops and herds, put the money in a pouch, and go to the place the Lord your God has chosen. And when you go down, well, let's just take a look at all of it. In 26, it says, when you arrive, you may use the money to buy any kind of food you want, cattle, sheep, goats, wine, or other alcoholic drink. Then feast there in the presence of the Lord your God and celebrate with your household. And do not neglect the Levites in your town, for they will receive no allotment of land among you. At the end of every third year, bring the entire tithe of that year's harvest and store it in the nearest town. Give it to the Levites, who will receive no allotment of land among you, as well as to the foreigners living among you, the orphans and the widows in your towns, so they can eat and be satisfied. Then the Lord your God will bless you in all your work. So this is telling you how to receive a blessing. Also, there were the 7-year debt cancellations going on. At the end of every 7th year, you must cancel the debts of everyone who owes you money. So this is just describing what the Lord is concerned about. You know, the concerns are for each and every one of us, as well as for those who are foreigners, those who are orphans, widows, all people who also are seeking to just be in a position to be able to eat and be satisfied. And this is all about your work being blessed. So this is the type of God we serve, and it's worth a whole lot of consideration there. So if you want blessings, you're seeing the things that God brings up. God bless you, and may you be prosperous.